All right, so we are going to begin again. We left off at Oceania. We colored in all of Asia. And I told you the continent of Asia, please color that in. I'm going to color in the islands with you. Now, in the islands, you're going to color in these. It's a very big distinguish. Don't color all of them. I know it's hard to distinguish, but some of the islands belong to Oceania. Not all of them belong to Asia. So please keep that in mind as you're going through. All right. Next color I'm going to use is going to be yellow. I don't care what you use. Yellow is going to be my Oceania. Now, Oceania is the largest in miles, but the smallest in land space, because it is the largest piece of Oceania is, of course, Australia, New Zealand, and all that, but it's pretty much all islands. Now, I'm coloring these islands very big, not because I don't know how to color, but because I want you to know these are actually a part of Oceania and not of Asia, so please keep that in mind. Yes, I know how to color. I'm purposely doing it bigger so you know they're part of Oceania. And over here you have some as well. All of these belong to Oceania, especially Hawaii. Okay? All right, so what we are going to do now for every map for the rest of your AP World Life, every time you have an area that we did not color, in this case it's going to be Antarctica, you're going to color it green, which means not like a green as in like I know it's land, Miss Bennett. It's not just nothing. Then you're going to color in the water, just so I know you know what's water and what's not water. So when we color, in case you haven't figured it out, we are coloring very, very quickly. I want to know that you know what's land and water. I don't need you to perfectly color land and water. Okay, so as quickly as you can. I've used these markers a lot, these color pencils a lot apparently, and they are all dying on me. So you're just coloring in your water very quickly. It needs to look okay. It does not need to look great. It definitely doesn't have to look perfect. So the back half of this is the tricky part, and that's where we're going to spend most of our time today. There is for the hand crank ones or the ones for color pencils. Okay. I have already put this map completed on Edsby for you. So if you need a little bit more details tonight, you are more than welcome to look there for it. Now, if you would take a second to look up here, tomorrow on your quiz, you're going to take a vocab quiz, 11 through 20, then you're going to take a math quiz immediately after on the same piece of paper. Okay? So what's going to happen is, on one side, I'm going to have, I think, 3 questions from this side, and I'll have 7 questions from this side. So what's going to happen on this side, if I put a number 1 right here, the answer to number 1 is what? Africa. If I put a number 2 right here, the answer is? The Americas. Okay, that's all you have to be able to do. All right? All right, I'm turning. Join me.
Did you do oceans too?
Nah. You should know your oceans. Those aren't my biggest focus. Okay, so I'm going to start at North America. So I'm going to write North America here. And the first line we're going to do is draw a line for Mexico. That's the division of Mexico. I'm going to label this Mexico. Okay. These islands right here are the Caribbean. All right. Now, the interesting thing about the Americas is that from Mexico all the way down to the bottom of South America, this is technically called Latin America. Inside Latin America, so this will include Mesoamerica and Caribbean. Okay, so Mexico is part of Latin America. Sometimes we label Mexico, straight up Mexico, and don't include in Latin America. We're going to get to it when we start coloring. I'll be a little bit more clear once we get going, but be aware of that. All right, we're going to start with Africa first. We're going to start with this. We're going to start up top. I think that worked out better last time. So in Africa, we are going to just write that. That's what country, modern day country is that? Egypt. Leave it blank for right now because it's actually part of the Middle East. They are doing warning bells. Nelson just said he wasn't. What's up?
What does it say above Mesoamerica?
Includes.
Wait, what does it say under?
What does it say? Includes Mesoamerica and Caribbean.
Oh.
Oh, that's my handwriting. It's already set up, ready to go for you, girl. North Africa is here. This is North Africa. You find it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Take a seat wherever you like. Over here, we're going to do a squiggle here. And then that. This is going to be West Africa. Now, as long as you're trying, you'll be completely fine. If you're not trying, that's where I have a problem. We're going to go around here. This is Central Africa. Okay, and this is South Africa. This, I'm going to draw a line here all the way to Madagascar. This is East Africa. Okay? All right. If you thought that was hard, Asia is much harder. So, I'm going to shift it over. All right, so we're going to start just above Thailand. And over at Thailand, we're just going to go boop. That's not the hard part. From there, we are going to go this is South Asia. Okay. This right here is the Middle East. That is going to include where the modern-day country of Egypt is going to be. So this part that we never labeled over here is actually part of the Middle East. When we color it in, it'll be much clearer. So above the Middle East, we're going to start connecting. It's going to go this way, and then it's going to go up, and then connect just above Korea. And you're going to have East Asia. And then this is the easiest part. You good, darling?
Yeah.
Perfect. If you just want to leave it right on top, and I'll deal with it. I'll look at it later. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Perfect. See you, Cheyenne, right?
Yeah.
Central Asia is right here. Okay. Now, below Africa, I'm going to write a box, and then I'm going to draw squiggles, black squiggles. I'm going to write regional overlap. What that means is that in this area, it's always not clear what region it is in. Okay? So, this is Southeast Asia. Okay, so around Central Asia, East Asia, and the Middle East, I'm going to draw some squiggles. That means in this area, it gets very difficult to tell what is what. And there's some regional overlap. Sometimes it's referred to as Central Asia, sometimes it's referred to as East Asia, sometimes it's referred to as Middle East, along those borders. Something that is right here, will it ever be considered Central Asia? No. If it's right here along this line, could you say it's either? Yes. It's to your benefit that they clarify this, but that's how we break it down. On the other side, though, Mexico. Sometimes Mexico is referred to Mexico as its own individual thing. Sometimes Mexico is is brought into Latin America, and you just they kind of just roll with it. Regional overlap, same type of thing. All right. What I would suggest doing is putting all of your colored pencils back into their little box, so when you grab a colored pencil, you know what you used and you didn't use. And that comes from years of experience. I usually just throw mine to the side. All right, so I'm going to start with the Americas because I'm an egocentrical American, and America goes first. So, North America, coloring it super quick. You are going to color in Greenland. Do not color in Mexico. Okay? Do not color in the Caribbean. Do not color in Iceland. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you don't know your countries, that's fine. Just look them up. Okay, North America is done. Now, what we're going to do is we are going, since Mexico has overlap, we're going to color whatever we color Mexico all the way down to South America as well. So I'm using a purple. I'm going all the way down. I'm coloring fast. You better be coloring fast. We're also going to color in our Caribbean. I'm exaggerating the lines so I know that those are purple.
So we're coloring the Caribbean same colors.
Yep. Because we're going by a bigger region there. All right. I'm going to color North Africa first. Just coloring it super quick. Now, if you run out of colors, you can do stripes, you can do polka dots, you can do whatever you want to just be able to tell the difference. I've done polka dots before. It looks really nice. But more importantly, you are coloring quickly and moving quickly. Do not forget about Madagascar, please. Now, these terms that we are using right now are going to be used throughout the entire year. All of your essays are going to be based on regions. So, for instance, if you get a essay prompt that says in the region of Africa and you write about the Egyptians, are you right or wrong? You're wrong. Egypt is not considered African. It's considered Middle Eastern. If you get an essay, 2 years ago, there was an essay question about what are some unique cultural practices that happen in Southeast Asia. How does Hinduism evolve in Southeast Asia? Some people were writing how Hinduism evolved in India. India is South Asia. All those kids got that whole essay wrong because they didn't know their regions. So when we talk about regions and I tell you they're really important and that you have a quiz on them tomorrow because you need to know them, it's because if you don't and you get an essay question based on a region and you don't label the right region, no matter how beautiful your essay is, it's wrong. Welcome to AP World. So make sure you know your regions. In case you haven't noticed, in the back of the class, I have the regions. Now, in Africa, I group them all together because there's not a ton of distinction within it after a couple periods. So I kind of group them all together, but you'll notice it's all done by region, and I'm going to help you kind of figure out the order of civilizations in your regions. So we're in this together, people. Do not color beyond where I have colored for Southeast Asia, please. All right. So tomorrow for your quiz, if I put a 1 right here, the answer to number 1 is? If I put a 2 right here, the answer will be? You know what? I'm never going to ask you a question on this side, except for maybe North Africa. Is that fair? Because it could be Latin America. It could be, you know what I mean? I'm just going to stick with, I'm not going to do anything from Mexico and Latin America. Is that fair? Okay, but if I put a 2 right here, what would it be? Southeast Asia. The map tomorrow will be completely colored in. It just won't have the terms written on it. Everything will be color coordinated. The water's colored. Everything's colored. It just has numbers in certain areas. You just have to tell me what the number is. Everyone understands what the quiz tomorrow is going to look like? Finish your water super quick. I did not color in Europe, so I'm going to grab a green real quick and color that real quick. If you want full points on your maps, which why wouldn't you, all of your extra land needs to be colored green. Okay, don't forget your Oceania over here. They don't really care. And my water will be blue. That's how you get your full points. It does not need to be perfect, it just needs to be effective. Now, every single week, we will do a little bit of the map in class. Some of it will have to be done at home. I post a picture of your map every single week on Edsby. This map is currently already on Edsby for you. My second period, we didn't finish. So They are finishing that tonight. Now we are about to start working on our primary source. If we do not finish our primary source, you are not finishing that for homework. Is that clear? Your only homework tonight is you have to finish your focus questions. You have a quiz on 11 through 20 and a map quiz. That's it. I will finish the primary source with you tomorrow. That's clear, correct? Okay, so do not stress about that tonight. You are focusing on your map quiz, your vocab quiz, and finishing your focus. As soon as you are done, please put your color pencils and crayons away. When you leave, please put your color pencils and crayons into the box. If you picked mine up, if yours are yours, you can donate them or keep them. It's completely up to you. I'm just kidding. Keep yours. Once you are done, however, please take out your primary source. I am officially transitioning. You got 20 seconds. If you do not finish coloring in your water or whatever, make sure you finish that so you can get your 10 out of 10 for tomorrow. When you turn this in, please. All right. So, map quiz. Everyone's feeling pretty confident about knowing what to expect? Perfect. All right. Everyone should be transitioning to your primary source. No matter what, if we finish this or not, do not do this for homework. Everyone should have their primary source. It looks just like this. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in AP World, there's not many favors that are given to you. You need to learn 10,000 years of history. You need to know names. You need to know dates. You need to know a lot of things. However, there are a couple nice things AP World does for you. One of the nicest things they do for you is they give you background knowledge on primary sources, which means they give you extra information. It's a gift from whatever God you pray to. Okay? Every single time you get a primary source, it'll typically come with either a sentence. This one gets a paragraph. This italicized font, and theirs is italicized, so mine's italicized. These are little gifts for you. They are the most important thing. Now, the primary source is important, but you need to have context. You need to understand what is happening, and that is exactly what these italicized fonts are. You need to pay attention and read them. In your DBQs, they're the most important thing. All of those components. And as we get going, we'll be discussing this more. Who will read this for me? All right, here we go.
This infant burial is from Catalunya.
Sure, whatever it is.
A Neolithic settlement in Turkey that was occupied continuously for 2,500 years, between 8,000 and 6,400 BCE. The infant was between 6 months and 1 year old, and the burial demonstrates great care. The infant was placed in a fetal position facing south and rested on a reed mat or basket. Red ochre, a mineral powder, has been used to decorate the body. 2 anklets made of bone beads were placed around the feet, and large bead bracelets made of bone and colored stone of blue, black, and white encircled the infant's wrist. The bead artifacts were probably too large to have been worn while the baby was alive. So they may have been burial offerings.
This is a perfect example of why this italicized font is so important. Why? What about that is so important? What do you got, Caitlin?
If you didn't have it, you wouldn't have known like what the rings were.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you really see the beads that well? Doesn't it kind of look like bones? I don't know about you, but it's kind of like, what the hell is that? You can't really tell. You need the context. Because of all this information, we know that. What else did we learn in this little passage here? What else did we learn, Dow?
We learned that it's facing south.
There you go. Why do you think it's facing south?
Religious reasons.
Religious reasons, maybe? So what we're going to do is we're going to write facing south. Religious, because are we sure it's religious reasons? No, but it could be. It's a good point. What else do we know now that we're looking at T?
Between 6 months and 1 year old.
Okay, so it's 6 months to 1 year old. Okay, what else do we know? What else do we know? Guys, think about it. All the information we just got.
Attention teachers and students, pardon the interruption. We just wanted to let you know that we will be ringing the bell on time at 1:18 to end third lunch and to move on to sixth period.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, what do we know about this baby, about the place it comes from, anything? What do you got for me? Garrett.
Jared.
Jarrett. What
It's,
the
rested
hell?
on a reed mat.
Read map. What does that tell us? Yeah, it's on a read map, but what does that tell us?
That people had mats under and other things that they made themselves.
Okay, so they're utilizing their resources, but if you put a baby who's dead on a reed mat, what is that telling us? George.
They're trying to, like, I don't know, preserve it and keep it, like, not damaged.
I don't know. I think you're throwing dirt on something. I think it's going to get damaged. What are they trying to do? What do you got, Dom?
Like care for the dead.
Care for the dead. They're trying to make it a little more comfortable. Can we agree? I mean, it's obviously it's the baby's dead and stuff, but they care about what? Comfort. They care about comfort. If the people who is burying this infant cares about comfort, what does that tell us about the people who's burying them? What does it tell us? Stephen? They're compassionate. Okay, so is this loss of life surprising, or is it something that is appreciated and respected? It's appreciated. So is life of value, of no value? Life is valued. Life is valued. Okay? And when people die in conflicts and we just pile their bodies on top of each other, is that of value? Are we showing life has value or no value? No value. To do everything we do, and we see here, we see that life is highly valued. Okay? What else can we see? This is a what of a baby? It's a skeleton. Are we really studying the skeleton, or are we studying the practice of burial? Burials are done using what? Think about funerals, burials you've been to. They're dictated strictly by what? Who controls funerals and burials? How is it dictated? What do you got? Based on religion and traditions. Can we agree? So is this society, do you think this is the only time they've done this? No. So this is based on cultural traditions. Okay? Now, when we talk about comfort, you can see if you look at the skeleton, what about the skeleton tells us? Is it natural position or unnatural position? It's a natural position, so that will also bring back to the care. Okay, so this is soapstone. Subject, audience, purpose, speaker, point of view, tone, and additional document. When we talk about primary sources, we have to identify the subject, the audience, the purpose, the speaker, point of view, all that stuff. This will be a skill that you fine-tune for the rest of the year, and it's a little bit tricky, but we'll get there. All right, Caroline, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Caroline, I'm going to have you here. Esmeralda, you're supposed to be one seat up. Yeah, you're supposed to jump one seat. Stephen, you're up one if you could. Caroline, that way you're in the fold, sweetie. I don't like you back there. If you want to move up one more. That wasn't the reason I called on you, but I want you to be included, darling. Caroline, what is the subject of this primary source? Infant burial. Okay, during when? 2016?
Between 8,000 and 6,000.
All right, what do we call that whole period? During Neolithic times. Okay, so the subject, infant burial during Neolithic times. Who is the audience? Okay, now when we say audience, we're looking at a burial. Who is the burial for? Why would someone bury the baby this way? It's not about what we're looking at. The audience is for us, AP World. No. Why would they bury this baby the way they did? That is the audience. Who are they doing it for? What do you think, John?
Maybe they're doing it for themselves.
Who's themselves? Who are those people?
People who buried.
Okay. So you found a baby and you're going to take all this comfort and...
Like the parents. And the
Parents. Parents of the child. Why would we say, why do you think it's the parent's child? You have to be explicit when you talk with language. That's for primaries, you have to be very explicit. John, why do you think it's the parents?
because they cared for it and they wanted to bury it properly.
There you go. All right. What is the purpose of this burial? What is the purpose of the burial? What do you got, Abby?
To make life seem respected and valued.
Show value of the baby's life. Show the value of the baby's life. And that's good. Okay, so show value. Is this burial successful? Absolutely, with the care, the thought, all of that. Who is the speaker? Now, when we talk about the speaker, the person behind the burial, the person who created this, the person who organized this burial, who is the speaker? Who do you think, Grace?
The family.
The
baby.
family could be be a little more specific.
The family of the infant that died.
Well, family could be brother, sister, cousin.
Parents.
The parents? Okay, and who else? Because when you go to, if you've never been to a funeral and a burial, do the parents lay the bodies down? No, who does it?
It doesn't have to be a church.
No, it doesn't have to be a church, but
You
who?
hire.
Your religious leaders. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Whatever religion you are a part of, even if you're, I can't think of the name, people who don't believe in God. Atheists, they still have burial procedures. They call them procedures. They don't call it practices. But parents and what? So the speaker is the parents. Okay, they're the ones putting all these decorations probably on it. Then who is the other speaker? The religious leader. Absolutely, the religious leader. Okay. They are going to be the ones maybe make sure the baby's pointing south. Maybe, putting the reed blanket down and all that stuff, that whole part of the ceremony. All right, we're going to skip point of view because it's the hardest thing. Tone. What is the tone of the piece? When you look at this and you see all of the factors into it, what is it telling us? What is the tone? What is the emotions it gives? What do you got? Ripkey.
Respect.
Respect. Respect for what?
Baby.
Respect for baby or respect for?
For the dead baby. For their God.
You're so close. When we think of tone, it's respect, absolutely. But is it just for this baby? Do you think this is the only baby that's ever been buried like this?
No.
So what is it in respect for? It's respect for? You're going to be so mad when you hear it. Charlotte? Human life. See? You're so close, man. You're so close. Respect for human life is the tone. They're taking, it's somber, it's thoughtful, it's caring, all that stuff. All right, point of view. Why are they doing this when they did it? Why the mantra is as we go, because we usually do written documents. Why they write it when they wrote it? What is going on in the world that this shows insight on? What is happening outside this little village or in this village as a bigger picture that makes this a powerful thing? Abby?
They're probably staying put because they would bury the baby and then leave it with it.
I don't know, if you're getting chased by bears, I guess you're going to run. But what is that? Why is this burial? What does this tell us in the big picture? And this is the hardest part of primary sources. In the big picture, this burial shows us, look at all the things we covered. Tie it all together with a pretty bow, and that's what point of view is. Point of view is the reason why they're doing all of these things. Why? What do you got, T?
Religious reasons.
Religious reasons would play a role in it. Guys, what do we know already about the Neolithic time period? If life is precious and we have such high respect for it, why are they taking this much effort into a baby that died? I mean, believe me, I'm not trying to be shorthand. Having a child and having it die is my fear, which is why I'm never having children. But why is this such a big deal? What is it? Go ahead.
They respect their dead babies that they can cover maybe from the gods. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. Like you're trying to respect the gods, so maybe they'll have another kid.
The point of view. Childbirth is so dangerous and childhood can end in death. That when a child dies, it's a real loss. So, what has happened? This mother had a 50-50 shot of dying in childbirth. She lived, and her baby dies 6 to 9 months later. What does that tell you about life? Sucks. Absolutely. It's awful. Okay? So, this care burial shows us that life is incredibly precious, and life as seen when it's lost is a true loss. Yes? Hello? Okay. All right. Flip it over. All right. Here we go. This is primary number 2. Who can read this for me? I don't know, volunteer. Oh my God, thank you so much. Riley.
Venus of Dulce.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Vestonus, first known work of ceramic art. In archaeology, the term Venus figurines is an umbrella description relating to Stone Age statuettes of wood, created during the Upper Paleolithic throughout Europe and Siberia. They were carved by Stone Age sculptors in all manner of materials, ranging from soft stone, bone, ivory, wood, or ceramic clays. The latter type are among the oldest ceramic works in stone.
There you go. All right, so what does our little info grab tell us, Steven? What are we looking at? Okay, it is a statue. A statue of what? A woman. And what is unique about this woman? She has a lot of fat mass. She has a lot of fat. What does that tell us? She's bigger. Why would they make a statue of a bigger woman? What do you got? Courtney? Birth. So, birth is easier. The more fatter you are, the easier it is. However, how funny, because our fat levels are too heavy. Now it's dangerous. Isn't that so? If you're too heavy, you can't give birth. It's crazy. Life's so unfair for us women. Too skinny, too fat. Damn it. All right, so birth is easier. What is this? What is this used for? What did we learn? What is this used for? When we see this, what else can we tell, Abby?
This is what, this is like the ideal image.
Ideal. Very good. All right, we're going to pick up where we left off. However, oh my God, I'm so excited for whatever you're about to tell me. However, you are not finishing your primary source by yourself. I am going to finish it with you tomorrow.